One bright morning in a quiet town, a well-known teacher who loved to make lessons fun visited a small primary school. The kids were curious as they saw him enter the classroom with a big, clear jar and an excited look in his eyes. Without saying much, the teacher placed the jar on the table in front of them. Then, he pulled out a handful of big rocks, one by one, and carefully dropped them into the jar. The students watched as the rocks filled the jar. When no more rocks could fit, he asked, "Is the jar full?" The kids thought about it for a moment, and then said, "Yes." But to their surprise, the teacher took out a bag of small pebbles. He poured them into the jar, shaking it lightly. The little pebbles filled in the spaces between the big rocks. Again, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" Most of the students said, "Yes, it's full." But the teacher just smiled and pulled out a bag of sand. He poured the fine grains into the jar, and they filled the small gaps left by the pebbles and rocks. Once again, he asked, "Is the jar full?" This time, the students were not so sure. "Probably not," one student said. The teacher then took a jug of water and poured it into the jar, filling every remaining space. Finally, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" And the students all agreed, "Yes, now it's full." The teacher smiled and began his lesson. "The jar is like your life," he explained. "The big rocks are the most important things: your family, your health, your true friends. These are the things that give your life meaning. If you lose everything else, but still have these rocks, your life can still be happy." He continued, "The pebbles are the things that matter too, like your job, your house, and your car. They are important, but they're not as crucial as the big rocks. The sand represents the little, everyday things, the tasks, the small worries, the things that don't really make a big difference in the end." The teacher looked around the room and said, "If you fill your life with the sand and the pebbles first, you won't have room for the rocks. Focus on what truly matters: your family, your health, and your passions. Don't let the small stuff take up all your time. Remember to make space for the big rocks." A student raised her hand and asked, "What about the water?" The teacher's eyes twinkled. "Ah, the water," he said. "The water represents those small, joyful moments, time spent with a friend, a quiet cup of tea, a few minutes to relax. Even when your life seems full, there's always room for these moments of joy." He finished with a warm smile. "Make sure to put the rocks in first. The pebbles and the sand can fit in after, but the rocks are what make your life truly rich. Don't forget to make time for those important things: your family, your health, and your dreams." The students sat quietly, thinking about his words. The teacher nodded, satisfied. It was a lesson they would always remember.